Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I'm an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make my videos here on Watch Barbara Knit. If you would like to know more about my knitwear designs, please check in the description below, and there you will find a link to my Ravelry page where you can browse all of the patterns I have available for you to knit and possibly get a PDF for yourself. Also in the description below you will find a link to my Facebook group for Watch Barbara Knit. It is a closed group, so that means you have to request approval, but it also means that we can share pictures and have fun and just generally talk about any of the subjects that I bring up here on the YouTube channel. And also, you really need to check in the description below today because it will be chock full of interesting links because I am doing a Fave 5 today. What Fave 5 is, and I will tell you, it should have happened last week, but there was a hurricane and we'll just not talk about that. Fave 5 is when I pick out a particular theme and then I go through Ravelry, because I love looking through Ravelry, and pick out the things that just grab my attention right there. That's why I call it Fave 5, because it's just my favorite thing that I'm looking at right now at this moment. Tomorrow might be different, but these are the ones that catch my attention today and that I'd like to share with you. Now, today's theme is my favorite 5 sweaters that I'm never going to knit. Now, let me explain. I literally have never knit an adult size sweater at all. It's just, I'm an accessories person and it's what I knit. Sometimes I joke and say I don't knit garments because that means there's too many ends to weave in. But, you know, that's mostly just a joke. But I haven't ever made a sweater because I'm just so busy making all the shawls and everything else I want to make. But that doesn't mean I can't appreciate sweaters and cue sweaters and favorite sweaters and in general pretend that maybe one day I'll make a sweater. And you know, Rhinebeck is coming up. Rhinebeck is New York sheep and wool, and there is the famed Rhinebeck sweater. It's everybody has to knit a brand new sweater so they can wear it at Rhinebeck, and because it's just kind of like a giant runway, everyone walking around with their beautiful pieces. So today I pretended that I might actually make a Rhinebeck sweater, which is not going to happen, but hopefully you might take a shine to one of these and knit a sweater up for yourself. And speaking of Rhinebeck, I wanted to mention that I will be signing at Rhinebeck. I do not have the times exactly yet. I'm definitely signing on Saturday. I might also be signing on Sunday, but I'm signing my new book, Mosaic and Lace Knits. And if you do come to Rhinebeck, I'd love to see you there. Now, on to the Fave 5. And I'm going to let you know that I have my stuff pulled up on my screen over here, dual screens going on. So if you see me looking over here, that's what I'm doing, looking at the other screen. My first choice is Pax Vobis. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that correctly, by Jennifer Dassau. And I just thought I wanted to start off with this because this is a sweater, being in the southern states, that I definitely could get a lot of wear out of. It has a 3/4 length sleeve and I love this really beautiful scoop neck. Now, she says that all of this beautiful texture you're seeing is baby cables that you can do without a cable needle, and I am right on with that. I love cabling without a cable needle and doing just little 1/1s. I can do that all day, every day. And she said that it's got wrangling shaping, and reading it, I think the way the construction works is you cast on the back and the sleeves and you're knitting it like it's a cardigan. So it's not joined in the round yet. And then that's how she got that really deep scoop. And then once you get it to a certain point raglan wise, you then cast on stitches for the front and then continue knitting down. I think it said in one piece. Yes, it looks like it's in one piece, and the cables kind of pull it in, and then when she switches to stockinette, it naturally flares out, which I think is really cool, and you don't have to mess with a bunch of shaping. And then I think you pick up the sleeves and work them out, and then there's twisted rib cuffs, and then you pick up around the neckline and do a twisted rib that matches the cuffs. So all in all, the construction makes a little bit of sense to me. I don't know, I've never done it, but reading instructions, I think I can visualize how it works. Let's see, this is in fingering weight yarn, which I have to admit is a tiny bit of a strike against it. But, you know, to get something this lightweight, you totally need that. And it's a beautiful piece by Jennifer Dassau, and it was the first one I wanted to show because it's I'm kind of going from light to heavy in the sweaters. These aren't in order of like, you know, ranking, it's just how I arranged them. And let's see, the next pattern I have for you is William. And I think if you've watched any of my videos, you might be able to see why I love this so much, because it's got bunnies on it. I love bunnies so much. And when I was looking through Ravelry, I stumbled across this one again, and I was like, wait a minute, you know what? I have Anne Kingstone's book. So I love this sweater so much that I actually bought this book with, you know, in what I said about me pretending like I'm going to knit sweaters, totally pretending that I'm going to knit sweaters. And it is in the book. See, it's here. And let me tell you guys, this book, oh my God, it is a beautiful book. And it is full of sweaters I want to pretend that I'm going to knit. And it also has some absolutely beautiful, if you're want to try out stranded, it's got, look at those. Aren't they gorgeous? So, but it is also available on Ravelry. There'll be a link in the description below. And I really like the really open neckline on this, but apparently some people don't, which is interesting. And on the Ravelry page, she says that the ebook and the PDF, if you purchase it, includes instructions on how to adjust the neckline if you don't want it as open. So that is one of the amazing, wonderful things about Ravelry and PDFs, is those kind of updates and that kind of a direct designer interaction. You can get that feedback, but I'm happy I have my book. This is in Rowan Tweed, which is a DK weight yarn, and it looks like it's top down. Yes, it's top down, and the color work, the cute rabbits are done in stranded knitting. And the really cool thing about her charts is she actually tells you, they're like little marks on the chart that she tells you when to trap the strands when you're carrying yarn, which I think that's super cool. And she said that the design is adapted from the lovely Brother Rabbit pattern by English arts and crafts designer William Morris. So I think that is really cool. And this is just a beautiful sweater. All of the interest is up here on the top, and then it's just got a simple shape to the bottom. And I think it's just beautiful, and it looks comfy, and it has bunnies. So really, how can you go wrong? I also really like the way that the bunnies go around the shoulder part. I think it just is continuous, and that looks, as opposed to them like going into your armpits, which some of these, some color work doesn't hop around. And I'm sure that the math and getting it to go around the shoulders is a little bit challenging. But I love this bunny sweater, and I'm totally pretending like I'm going to make it. Thank you, Anne, for such a cute sweater. The next pattern I'm going to go to, we're going to look at a cardigan. And this is Silver Girl by Laura Aylor. And again, when I was browsing through Ravelry, I had a really hard time because I tried to choose 5 different designers, and I open up windows like, oh, I like that one and that one and that one, and then I narrow them down. And apparently I like pretty much all the sweaters that Laura Aylor designs. I had multiple of her sweaters up, and they are absolutely lovely. I managed to narrow it down to this one. It is a cardigan. I think it's the only cardigan I have. And I love the deep scoop, and I love that the buttons don't start until lower. I think that's really nice. I really like V-necks, and that is cool. This is in sport weight, which is one of my favorite weights of yarn to work with. She says it's knit top down seamlessly with simultaneously knit set-in sleeves. I don't know what that means, actually, kind of. Well, a set-in sleeve means that it's, instead of being a drop sleeve where the seams here, a raglan, the seams run like this. Set in is what we think of a more traditionally tailored, and normally the way set in sleeves work is you knit the sleeve separately and then you have to, you know, seam them in. And this is apparently a technique where you can get that set in look and cut, but without having to knit it separately and put it together, which is a plus in my book. A lot of people don't like putting things together. I know a lot of sweater knitters who get to the point where they've knit almost all the sweater in pieces and then it just sits in their to-do basket and they never actually put it together because they don't like that part. So I wouldn't know. I've done 0 sweaters, so I'm not criticizing those people. At least they're further along than I am. Let me see what else is going on here. I really liked the detail on this. I am not sure. I'm going to click on it, make it bigger. I'm not sure if there are actually cables here or if it's twisted stitches. There almost appears to be a little bit of lace. I'm super curious. But whatever it is, if there are cables, they're little tiny cables that, but I really don't, it doesn't have any mention. I think it's just lace, and the lace and the way it interacts is giving you that almost basket weave effect. And I think it's really pretty. I like that the detail is around the cuffs and around the bottom, and then just runs delicately up and around this neckline. It just looks like a super comfy cardigan that you could wear like pretty much all the time. Okay, next one. Look at this. You knew, you guys, you knew beads had to be coming into the program. And beads on a sweater might be a little bit challenging, but Stephanie Talent with this tile sweater has managed to make it work beautifully. As I mentioned, I love a V-neck. I love how deep this is. Another thing that I really love about this is it's nice to see something modeled on someone who is a little bit closer to my size. No shade being thrown at any of the other models, but I am not a small person, and seeing how something fits on different body sizes is really, really nice. So thumbs up to you on that, Stephanie. And I love these beads. It makes total sense that I'd be drawn to it because she says that the beads that she's done, it's meant to evoke the simple Moroccan geometric shapes that you find in decorated tiles, like the deco style tiles. And I'm all about deco. These are beautifully done. I love the beads and that detailing. Otherwise, this is a very clean silhouette with the V-neck and the long sleeves. And the wonderful thing about knitting sweaters is if you didn't want those long sleeves, you could stop them. So I could possibly see myself stopping them a little shorter so the beads are more here. But it's got the beads around the neckline and the beads around the bottom and the beads on the wrists. And I think that is really cool. This is another sport weight yarn and their size 60 beads. So that is not hard to do. She says she highly recommends purchasing more beads than this quantity to account for breakage loss. And I totally 100% agree with that. I don't know if you've done any beading yet, but you will find them everywhere and they jump and they go away, and always have more beads than you need. Knitting in the round, beading, picot hems. Ooh, they're picot. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay, you can't really see it in this picture, but if you look very carefully, there's picot hems, and they're absolutely adorable. I think this is an absolutely beautiful sweater, and I could totally see making and wearing it, you know, if I made sweaters. And finally, as I said, I was kind of going from lightweight to heavier weight. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, like the oversized sweatshirt of the sweater world. And it looks so amazingly comfy. This is from Lars Rains, and it's called Asymptote? Don't know. It is from his book, Modern Lopey 1. And in it, he explores the Icelandic, this type of color work on the yoke is a specific Icelandic style, and he's modernized it, I think, with shape and color, and it's really cool. You should definitely check out his book. This sweater just really spoke to me because, again, it looks like something you could almost sleep in, you know, if you lived in the Arctic North. But one year I went to Rhinebeck and it actually snowed, and I would have really appreciated having a sweater of this density. This is an Aran weight sweater, and that means it's going to go a little faster, and again, it's going to be heavy. I like the stand-up collar on that, but that it's away from the neck, because I don't like things up around my neck, so I like it's open a bit. And again, it's got this beautiful color work that goes around the yoke, and then that's echoed in the sleeves, but because the sleeves are oversized, they seem to be higher up, and I think that's really cool. And then I like that the color work is just above the band that's at the bottom that holds the shape of the sweater. And honestly, normally I'm one of those people that like substitutes yarns, but I really like the colors he chose in this one. I like the pinks and the way they fade, and obviously I need to work on my stranded knitting abilities. Let me see if there's anything else we need to talk about here. Goes up to a 57-inch bust, so that's a big thumbs up. And that is another thing. I looked at all these to make sure that they would fit me in, the pattern goes up high enough that it could fit me, and all of them have a fairly wide range, which again is something wonderful about independent designers, that they can provide larger ranges than they're typically provided in books because of simply space restraints. And I was actually going to show you guys how to measure your bust, but I looked around, and you know how many measuring tapes I have? About like 300. That's exaggeration, but I seem to constantly acquire measuring tapes, and I can never ever find them. So there's a measuring tape monster out there someplace that has gone off with my measuring tape. So back to Lars's sweater. So it's worked on a size 6 needle. That's cool. No, size 8 and then size 6, I think, probably for the cuffs. It's very interesting, but he's got a lot of construction notes seamlessly in the round from the bottom up. Oh, that's interesting. So the other ones, most of the other ones I've looked at are top down, and this one's bottom up. So that'd be an interesting technique. And then you've got the beautiful color work that you're going to do. So that is a Tote by Lars Rains. So with a little sidetrack talking about bust measurements, there were my favorite 5 sweaters that I would knit if I knit sweaters. In my little notebook where I wrote down an idea, I wrote sweaters that I'm never going to knit, but maybe I will. I'm feeling that maybe sweaters are gonna come to me soon. But the problem is I'd have to stop knitting shawls, and who wants to do that? Well, I guess I could knit more than one thing at a time, but I tend to stay very project monogamous, and I am babbling. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click the like button if you did, and give this video the thumbs up. If you would like to be notified whenever I upload any new videos, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.